9:30, and we will call the regular Charles City Board of Education meeting to order and have roll call, please.
Dyke.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Frisbee.
Here.
Maycumber. Here. Winnering. Here.
All present and accounted for. Agenda item 2 is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yes, for the past 2 months, I believe, we've had an item called correspondence, and there wasn't anything Friday morning to put there, so it was taken off, but we received something Friday afternoon that I would want added to the agenda, so it'll just be an information item under correspondence. It's a letter from Osage Community Schools.
And we'll put that just before important upcoming dates.
Yeah, number 13, it'd be a new 13, and move the rest down.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as revised.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as revised by adding a correspondence item. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Walker.
Yes.
Frisbee.
Yes.
Maycumber.
Yes.
Winnering. Yes. Dyke.
Yes, motion carried 5-0. Agenda item 3 is to welcome the visitors and have public comment. As we begin our agenda tonight, I'll explain our process for public comment. The board will hear comments from the public in conjunction with each agenda item using the structured process. As board president, I will ask for comments when we reach that item on the agenda. You will be asked to approach the microphone, state your name, and limit your comments to 2 minutes. At this time, I invite any member of the audience to step up to the microphone with comments about items of interest or concern that do not appear on tonight's agenda. Please begin by stating your name and contact information. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 2 minutes so that we can keep the meeting moving in a timely fashion and allow others an opportunity to speak, as well as allowing the board to complete the full board agenda in a timely manner. Comments from the public are limited to matters within the board's authority. Please understand that we as a board cannot discuss items not already on the agenda. Iowa Sunshine Law prohibits us from having a discussion without the proper notice to all of the school district community that the issue would be discussed at tonight's board meeting. Also, please remember you are making comments in a public meeting. Should you make comments that the subject of the comments considers to be inflammatory or libelous, you as an individual may be subject to legal action brought by the subject of your comment. We thank you for your support of the Charles City Community School District. Are there any comments from the public this evening? Please state your name.
Larry Wolf, Assistant Principal, Charles City. I just want to give a shout out to a couple groups of people. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Beal, Miss Western, and Mr. Gassman took kids to the Northeast Iowa Music Festival in Waverly Shell Rock, over 40 kids. Great opportunity to listen to the orchestra, band, and choir sing. And then last Saturday, our sponsors for speech, Mike Lemke and Brenda Bailey, took a whole bunch of kids over to Waverly Shell Rock. Great results, numerous Division I's and all state recognition. So more to come in the paper, I'm sure. But shout out to all those people for their efforts on the weekends with our kids.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll go to agenda item 4, comments by board members and superintendent, and we'll start off with Dr. Cox.
Thank you. On January 14th, our state representative, Todd Pritchard, convened a workforce development meeting that was attended by 30 local business leaders and education officials, school superintendents, and higher ed officials. Discussions really tied in well with our STEM Best grant discussions that we've been having, and so we're looking forward to that development over the course of the spring. Today, the superintendent from Rockford and from New Hampton, as well as 4 staff members from Osage, joined me in a visit to the Iowa Big Campus in Cedar Rapids, and that's part of clarifying the logistical aspects of how we're going to implement that program here in North Iowa. I want to share with you that our invitation for bid has been turned into the state regarding a possible food service management company for 2016-17, and I'll update you on the progress as that process moves forward. And finally, a reminder that tonight we are here in Floyd having our board meeting out in the community. On the 8th of February, we are back at the middle school And on February 22nd, we will be in Cowell at the Community Center. So we certainly invite people who live in the northeast region of our district to make a special effort to come. And again, it's a public meeting. It's open to all people, so we'd like to get a good turnout in Cowell on the 22nd. Thanks.
Thank you. Any board members with comments?
Just briefly, we attended, Robin Scott and I attended a advocacy workshop from the Iowa Association of School Boards on January 14th. The message was very similar to other workshops we've been to, but the discussion amongst other school districts and school boards was very worthwhile, I thought. There were some districts like Waverly that we hadn't really interacted with their school board much, so always nice to get some new perspectives from varying opinions from different school districts. So good session.
One other thing, Robin and I had attended with Dr. Cox the furniture, fixtures, and equipment meeting, which was the day after our last board meeting. And so, you know, things are moving along as far as making choices and selections with the committee, which is made up of teachers, some students, administrative staff, and of course our architects and designers. But things are really shaping up well. I think we're on target for everything, and we're real pleased with the progress we're making and the choices we have.
Thank you.
And we have the board from that meeting, the palette board, the color board, and some renderings as well. So if board members or any public would like to come and see that, you can see some of the samples that we have preliminarily chosen.
Very good. Any other comments?
Yeah, but not meeting before last because I was in the hospital. The meeting before that, I arrived at the meeting late, was unable to get here before board comment time, and we had a conference board meeting at the courthouse, which consists of three entities, which is the school, the county, and the city. And because I was the only one from the school that attended, and we made a motion at that time, well, we had made a motion earlier to hire Gary Vandershoff to replace Bruce Hovedine as county assessor, but we made a motion on his wages, and I've had two discussions with Mark Kewen since then, and I had one today with him, that the motion that we had have made and passed, moved and passed to one of his wages is not going to be not going to hold up in the court of law according to the county attorney. So we've got to get more participation from other school boards in the county to come to the meeting a week from Tuesday night, so we have a quorum, because I was the only only one from one school board represented, and so it was a quorum we had a quorum of the people that were supposed to be there, but not enough people on the school board representation to make the motion and make it stick, so we have to redo the motion. But there's nothing that there's anything wrong with what we did or the way we worded it or how we are going to proceed with his wages, but we just need to get it in a different form of motion, have more people vote on it. So they're making house calls trying to get somebody from other school districts in the county to show up at the meeting week on Tuesday night. So
Good, thank you. If there's nothing else, we will move on to agenda item 5, the elementary math presentation.
Should have mentioned this at the beginning of the meeting, and it didn't cross my mind. I had a request to table this until the next meeting, given the weather, to make travel for both principals, for just request to have it tabled. So,
All right,
An
principal.
information item only, so we'll just move on to the screening of the film Most Likely to Succeed.
Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m., Charles Theater, free screening of the movie Most Likely to Succeed. So our current system of education was designed back in 1892 by a group called the Committee of 10, mostly university presidents, and it was done so to bring some standardization to the American public education system. It really harkens back to the experience that the Prussians had after being soundly defeated in the Napoleonic Wars, and Horace Mann, who was a leading education reformer from Massachusetts, going over and visiting Prussia, part of Germany, and understanding this new system that the Prussians had developed and then bringing that back to the U.S. and bringing standardization to our education system. And as we moved from the late 1890s into that really strong industrial age, it was important to have a citizenry that had basically the same skills no matter where you went, and to create an atmosphere in which those citizens could enter at the same age, move with bells, become used to the factory type model that would then allow them to be successful, whether they took a job in a manufacturing plant in Akron, Ohio, or in Los Angeles, California. It didn't matter. Everybody would have the same skills and know how to function in a factory system. That time has gone, you know. Those jobs largely don't exist. We're in an information age, and our education system has continued along that same factory model with small changes here or there. So this film, most likely to succeed, which was highly acclaimed at the Sundance Festival, chronicles High Tech High out in San Diego. And High Tech High is not, the name would make you think there's a computer everywhere and the latest technology everywhere. The high-tech business in San Diego gave the name to High Tech High. So really what they've done is take education and turn it on its side and say, how do we prepare students for the world in which they now live and will be entering as workers? And a lot of the concepts that we are putting into our middle school and high school instructionally, as well as that layout of our new middle school, are inspired by High Tech High. So we invite the public, we're inviting Osage, New Hampton, Rockford, communities as well to come and join us. We're partners in this STEM Best and doing something different instructionally. We'd love to see the Charles Theater jam-packed on Sunday, January 31st. So Cabin Fever weekend. After you've taken part in other fun activities on Friday and Saturday, stop out on Sunday for a free movie. And it's a 90-minute film and about a 30-minute Q&A session afterward. We just want to explore some educational transformation with our public.
Excellent.
Sounds like an interesting meeting, or interesting movie, and I think it'll help give the public and all of us a good snapshot of where we're headed. And, you know, if the public comes, I think they'll understand better, you know, some of the choices that we've all made in this new building and where we're going.
Exactly.
Very good. Look forward to watching that. Agenda item 7, the middle school addition change orders. We have 12 change orders here. Has buildings and grounds met, or is this coming just from the architect?
I'd say from Estes, from the construction manager.
I would say a combination of both. There's some things that we've talked about here, and then there's some that have come up outside of that meeting as well.
So are there any questions about the change orders that we have in our packet?
I just want to draw attention to that sometimes we hear change order, we instantly look at the fact that we're spending more money. We have 2 substantial change orders here that actually put more money into the budget because things came in under budget.
Like the sound door and hardware deduct of $20,659.
Correct.
So
And I did talk to Scott Scheller also, and the 31,000 total is to come out of the contingency budget of the project. So it's not actually adding, it's taking away from what we have left in our contingency.
which is why we had a contingency with this large of a project in the first place.
I think in the future, I'm going to ask Scott if he would maybe give us a presentation on, I know there's a norm, but there is a norm when you're doing a project of this size, how many change orders there normally is. I look at where we're at in number of change orders, and I think we have very few compared to the scope of our project. And I think it would be interesting to hear from Estes how many they expect, how many is norm, how many is, when they don't have a company like such as Estes to help with this, how many there is. But where we're at is very good.
In their last Buildings and Grounds, I think they talked that they were in the process of working towards giving us an updated budget and kind of a number of where our contingency is, what's remaining. And we're certainly still positive of that, but where is it and what they expect to continue. All along, Scott has kind of said that once we get to kind of where the point where we're at, that's the biggest wild cards are all
Yes.
gone for the most part, so.
The moving of the dirt and.
The unknown is opening the dirt, putting those structures in, knowing whether things are going to line up correctly and whether, yeah,
So I
that's the
think
big
I
unknown.
think many of these, $1,000 to $5,000 change orders are pretty routine, normal things that can be expected.
And for all these change orders, the information that they've given us, the backup is easy for us to understand, and it makes
Yes.
sense, and so it's easy to go ahead and approve these.
Do you have something, Jim?
Yeah, I wanted to, ask this question on number 35, the eyewash station deduct. What did they say, we didn't need one, or they needed one less, or?
If you go to the
needed less?
exhibits,
We had 6 originally,
Okay.
and 2 of those were taken out.
Okay, that's fine. I just wondered if we was taking them all out, if that was just one.
I'll make a motion to approve middle school addition change orders 16, 17, 18, 21, 23, 27, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 37, totaling $31,217.27 as presented.
I'll second it.
Agenda item 7 has been moved and seconded as presented.
Well, one comment, and I think on those eyewash stations, we have, I think, sufficient eyewash stations in the middle school, but it was a matter of where we were shifting 5th and 6th grade, isn't it? That I understand,
Right.
that maybe 5th and 6th grade don't need those eyewash stations.
Okay.
Well, it was an understanding from the architects as to where they thought 5th and 6th grade were going
Okay.
versus where they're actually going.
That's right.
And then the overall need decreased from what
Yes.
they had proposed to what we settled on it.
So, yes, so,
Because of the programming that happens at those 5th and 6th grade levels.
so the safety is still in place.
Right.
Yep, okay.
Sounds good.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll have roll call vote, please.
Frisbee,
Yes,
Maycumber,
Yes.
Winnering,
Yes,
Walker.
Yes.
Dyke.
Yes. Motion carried 5-0. Agenda item 8, Washington parking lot. Looks like everything is completed and it's time to pay the bill in change orders.
We did review these change orders, and the storm sewer work was some, what I would term unforeseen requirement by the city for curb and gutter and storm sewer hookup, and then foundation removal and backfill. I believe when they started the dirt work with that, they found some foundation of
The original.
the original
The original
school
one.
that sat there.
I'll make a motion that we accept approval of the parking lot.
I'll second it.
Now, just make a note here that it is very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
Very, very nice. Very nice. It doesn't look like we added as many parking spots as what we did because it
Looks like
doesn't
we
look like
needed
they
to
were
add
crowded.
more,
but
because they're all full already.
It just, there's visitor
Still
parking though. It's easy to find a visitor spot. When I've gone to visit now, there's always a visitor spot, so.
And if you haven't noticed, it does include concrete around back behind that used to be gravel. So there's not just what you see out front.
Very nice.
Agenda item 8 has been moved and seconded for approval as presented. Any further discussion or comments? Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, we'll have roll call vote, please.
Maycumber,
Yes.
Winnering,
Yes,
Walker.
Yes.
Frisbee.
Yes,
Dyke.
Yes. Motion carried 5-0. Agenda item 9, reduction in force for food service.
Food service numbers, as you saw last month, are down 56%, December 31st of 2015 from December 31st of 2014. So we were looking at staffing numbers, identified a position that could be eliminated at Washington. We had an opening at Lincoln that actually was a half an hour more. The employee in that affected position bid on the position to go to Lincoln. She is the senior bidder, so she will start work there tomorrow. We don't need to replace that Washington position, so this will help with curbing some of the labor costs, and we're also addressing the food costs as well.
okay.
So,
I move to approve the reduction of a 5-hour food service position at Washington Elementary as recommended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
My only comment is that I know I've gotten a lot of great comments throughout the school year on the improvements to the lunches and that, but this is an eye-opener a little bit that we need to be conscious of the costs associated with some of the things we've made, and hopefully this is sending us in the right direction to get back on track with the budget.
Agenda item 9, to reduce the 5-hour food service position at Washington Elementary has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, we'll have roll call vote, please.
Winnering,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Frisbee,
Yes.
Maycumber,
Yes.
Dyke.
Yes. Motion carried 5-0. Agenda item 10, the readathon fundraiser from Washington Elementary for a readathon fundraiser.
February is Love to Read Month. We have a need to continue to raise some funds for our preschool program to support what we have changed in 2015-16. So the motion is to approve this readathon at Washington Elementary.
I'll make a motion to approve the elementary readathon fundraiser as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the elementary readathon fundraiser as presented. Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, we'll have roll call vote, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Frisbee,
Yes.
Maycumber,
Yes.
Winnering,
Yes.
Dyke.
Yes. Motion carried 5-0. Agenda item 11, the mid-year superintendent evaluation.
So in the Iowa Individual Administrative Professional Development Plan that the board approved back on October 12th, there were 2 dates for review progress on that plan, January 25th and April 25th. So tonight I'll just give you a quick update as to where things stand on my Individual Administrative Professional Development Plan. There were 3 specific leadership goals. The first one was to create a strategic plan for the school district, developed from multiple stakeholder input. The target timeline for that is that we would have a finished one in May. Did a couple of focus groups in October, and I have not conducted any focus groups since. October 29th, we got the STEM Best Grant, and that really kind of pushed the strategic plan progress a little bit off to the side. But again, we're not looking at having a completed one until May, so it's just a reminder to me that get going on the strategic plan process so that we have one to talk about when we get to our May school board meetings. The second specific leadership goal was to coordinate a multi-district consortium STEM Best program for high school students. And as I mentioned, we got the good news, we shared the good news on October 29th. We were told a couple of days ahead of time. So a lot has been taking place, and there are a lot of moving parts with this. I sat down with the superintendents from Osage, Rockford, and New Hampton a month ago, and I had typed up everything out of the grant that we intended to do, and the document took 6 pages worth of things that are all moving parts in this. So Josh Johnson at the high school has been working with a couple of key staff members on our part of it, and then I've been working with the superintendents on orchestrating the other pieces of that. So it's a really big project, but it's an exciting one. It certainly has the attention of the lieutenant governor. When I had that meeting with her, she was all excited about it. The Iowa Big officials are proud that they can put on their website, hey, we're collaborating with a group of rural schools up in North Iowa. And they even talked about that today, that they are excited to be able to have urban kids engaged in projects with students in other parts of the state and ideally around the world as well. We're excited about the prospect of working with students in big school settings as well as our neighbors here in North Iowa. So a lot to do with that, but we're making good progress, I would say. And then lastly, working with school district staff on targeted professional learning opportunities to increase student engagement. And this is something that our secondary administrators really lead. We talk about big vision types of things, getting staff up to Minneapolis to see project-based learning schools, to see open concept schools, empowering them to make those decisions as to who to take and when. but making sure that our big picture is how do we better engage our students in their own learning, and how do we continue to personalize that experience for them as well. So there's a quick update on progress so far on this plan that is a plan in progress. Right now, the next opportunity to check in would be April 25th. Formally, we can either make that the summative one, or it can just be another formative assessment, and then in June, you do the summative evaluation. It's really up to you.
Any preferences?
Do you have a preference?
I would go for June,
I-
just to get through one more formative point to see where we at with these big projects, because they really are
Big
big
projects.
in nature.
Yeah.
And then
We have
take
a lot
June to
going
be,
on.
we do.
We have a lot going on every week.
We do. We have a lot of good things going on.
A lot of good things
But we
going
have a lot going on, so I would prefer the summative in June,
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
given all of that information.
In my observation so far, that everything's on track and we're making adequate process and all of it, so no concerns with that.
Would tend to agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments or discussion from board members?
Future's looking bright.
Moving on to agenda item 12, the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
The consent agenda has been moved and seconded to approve as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Frisbee,
Yes.
Maycumber,
Yes.
Wintering,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Dyke.
Yes, motion carried 5-0. New agenda item 13 would be correspondence.
So the superintendent at Osage sent a letter. On behalf of the Osage School Board of Directors, I'm sending this letter to select school districts regarding the possibility of any operational sharing opportunities that may be available for 2016-17 school year. With school finance and rural school issues being what they are, we're reaching out to you and your school board to inform you that the Osage Community Schools would be willing to consider various possibilities of operational sharing with your district. The operational sharing incentives currently offered by the Department of Education and the Department of Management provide for the sharing of valuable resources and monetary incentives for district participants, thus creating much-needed opportunities for savings, district relationship building, and sharing of effective and efficient practices. If your district would like to consider any sharing opportunities, please feel free to contact me, and she provides her email and phone number. So the question, because this is only a discussion item, is the board interested in any potential operational sharing with Osage, and how would you like me to respond?
My opinion is, I think it, as all opportunities should be thoroughly investigated and vetted. I think a part of that process should be our staff, you know, it's not just at our level, not just at your level, but the administrator's level, at our directors or managers level, how their comfort level with any of that, and if there are opportunities that they view as being potential for that. With our budget situation, we can leave no stone unturned in my
Exactly.
opinion.
I think, yeah, we'll turn it over, encourage you to look at the opportunities and to compile a list of potential sharing opportunities.
That was all going to be what I thought as well, because we don't act on things until we have a recommendation from administration. So I would think it would be up to administration, as we said, at all levels, to funnel through you and have things reviewed for possibilities in the future.
And they have a superintendent. We're not talking about operational being superintendent duties.
No.
Is that correct?
Department of Ed,
It would be things like superintendent, business manager, director of transportation,
Yeah.
buildings and grounds, director of food service, curriculum director, probably missing one or two, but
We've
it's,
shared
Librarians,
with other districts in the past, so things that can be shared positions.
and that's no longer an incentive position with
Okay.
money, but it would be at least operation.
But it's something we can do between our districts, though, without the incentive from the
For
state.
example, if you share a superintendent, you get 8 students worth of funding as an incentive. Business manager, you get 5 students worth of funding. Curriculum director, 3. So there's a chart with a corresponding weighting for each. But I'm hearing that you're at least open to it.
We're open to it. It would be real
Possibility,
easy.
So I will continue to explore that with our staff.
It would be real easy to say, knowing that we have the budget cuts ahead of us, to just say, let's just go for everything we can, but we have too many things going on too, to know that what we have going on here is very important. So it does come down to weighing the importance over the benefit financially now, or what may happen if we don't pay attention to something, what may come apart in the future. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to agenda item 13, 14 now, important upcoming dates.
Again, the movie screening on Sunday, free, 2 p.m., Charles Theater. Iowa caucuses are Monday, the 1st of February, and they start either at 6:30 or 7. Check your local newspaper and get exact details as to where you should be going. Monday the 1st also is our parent-teacher conferences, and those will be from 9:30 in the morning until 5:30 p.m. Encourage parents to still sign up for a conference time if they have not done so at the elementary level. And on the 8th, we've got a regular board meeting, again, back at the middle school. And then on February 22nd, we are in Caldwell at 6:30 at the Caldwell Community Center for our board meeting. So, a lot going on in the next 4 weeks.
Okay. If there's no other business to come before the board, we will adjourn at 7:02 and then go into an exempt session for negotiation strategy. Thank you.